Welcome back to the latest episode of the Everything Paddle podcast. This is a very special episode. I'm joined, as always, by Jake Bewley. Do you want to explain why?
Hello, guys. Yes, this is really important.
Emotional.
Yeah, sad times. It is our last official episode of season 1.
We got them there for a minute.
Yeah, definitely. So season 2 is going to come out
couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, we want to give ourselves a little break, give us time to think of some new ideas from different segments, new guests.
Want to make like a few upgrades to the set as well.
Yes,
like
100%.
make a few changes, but I think just having a couple of weeks off, and then we can come back strong.
You're moving out.
I'm moving out, moving house.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
That is a massive achievement.
Yeah. So moving house. Well, it'll be my first home.
Yeah, people don't actually realize we do have lives. So yeah,
so it'll be a bit of a busy time, but it will give me some time in the space of doing this and editing this. Hopefully, make a few upgrades to this set. We can properly book some guests on, and like we want to ask you as well if you have any ideas of new things we can discuss on the pod or guest suggestions or what kind of guest you'd be after. We'll listen to that and we'll try and get that sorted for season 2.
Yeah, 100%. And we just wanted to explain little things of maybe what new segments are going to come into season 2 and what ideas we have. And firstly, we just wanted to say thank you for listening.
Huge thanks for listening, all the support.
This whole time, it's been
so good, isn't it?
It's made this journey so fun.
Yeah, going to different clubs, people saying they listen to the pod.
Yeah.
Always getting messages about it. So
yeah, it's super cool. And that's why we think it's a good time to end season 1.
And then come back strong
for season 2.
So
let's start off, Ewan.
Yeah.
In our last episode of season 1, talking about how fun and good season 1 was and kind of how far we've come along from episode 1. I mean, this episode here
3 months ago. Well, just under 3 months.
Got 3K views plus the Spotify listeners.
Yeah.
Going superb. And
we're getting like a good 1,000 to 2,000 each time listening, and then like another 200 to 300 on Spotify.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Like when you actually think there's real people, there you go.
I mean, this is the first
it looks
setup.
so ugly there.
Yeah, I mean, even if you listen to it back,
we sound a little bit nervous.
Yeah, just like it was the confidence, and now obviously, hopefully, we've grown into it a little bit more. And
thing is as well, like because we've been in this set a while, I feel a bit more relaxed in this chair. Whereas there, you can see like you're kind of not sat in the most.
Yeah, I mean, I played with my
mic's
hands,
way too far away.
Well, my mic's behind me. That's not a good start. But yeah, that was episode 1. We got a new setup in episode 2.
For 2.
We went from the 3rd floor of my house to now the 1st floor of my house.
Yeah, Jake's got a lot of rooms in his house, just perfect for a podcast.
Well, we ended up not doing it in any of those rooms, and we moved. Was the 3rd room different?
The 3rd was...
What was the 3rd room?
Yes,
this was it. Oh, fine. Okay. So it was a new...
This was a good episode as well. This is when we were getting into the swing of things here.
Yeah. But look at that. Look at the difference between the setup here to the setup.
I think number 5 is probably... Five's the first one where we got the table in.
That looks so much better.
Yeah.
And Max England, when he came on, he gave us a massive compliment on the setup.
Yeah.
And that's super cool.
So what's been your favourite episodes? Have you enjoyed the guest ones or just the ones me and you?
I think ultimately all of them. We always say after, it's so much fun, and it's just like, and we're trying to create that. I've always said to you, I want to create that signature finish where we leave the camera rolling for a little bit.
The thing is, I feel like that's got to the point now where when it finishes, I know the camera's still on. So it's just going to get longer and longer.
Yeah, until we don't know. But no, I think that's a good little signature finish for us, and that's kind of one of our favorite things we've added to the podcast.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite episode it's tough. I think one of my favorites was talking about the recent one, was talking about the money in paddle.
Yeah, that was a good one. And I think the Olympic sport one as well. The last 2 we did
have been cool. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we both did our own research and then almost presented that to the other one.
Yeah, that was a good episode. And a lot of people came back to me and said they found it so interesting about the price and the cost. And that was a lot of higher level players, like people ranked very highly in GB and in the team. They were interested in knowing like how much it all is for you, and because they obviously do it themselves as well. So yeah, I've had a lot of favorite moments. Have you had any specific moment that's been your favorite?
I did actually enjoy doing the guest ones because they were like a lot more like nerve wracking for us. Like we couldn't, if something kind of went wrong, it was a lot more awkward. Like when we did it with Max, for example, like we had to get that right and do that. So I enjoyed doing that. And then afterwards, I felt like the episode after with Max, it was like so easy for us just to do the pod.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed like some of these early ones. I think like that third episode where I was sort of speaking about the tournaments. It's quite nice on the podcast to properly kind of explain or articulate maybe a bit more what went wrong or struggles going on. Because in a video, you can't get it across. So sometimes I do a video and it hasn't come across in the right way. So here I can kind of almost clear it up a little bit. Enjoyed that.
Those comment sections are brutal sometimes, aren't they?
Just go through and be like, no, I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah. No, it is tough. No, that's really good. And we've had some funny behind the scenes moments. I think my favorite behind the scenes moment was when we probably don't know if we should be telling you this, guys.
No, we'll tell them. They won't notice. We smashed it.
We're not going to tell you which episode, but we did actually film. Well, I'll start off the story with we forgot you lost a little small card, didn't you?
Yeah, so you need the SD card for the audio, and I lost that. It's like the tiniest little card. It's the most crucial thing for the podcast, though. So we lost that.
So we had to go to Tesco to get a new one. So that was a nice little trip. And then we came back, filmed the whole podcast, and then realised that the audio wasn't...
No, it wasn't on. So I went, oh, that was a good episode. Let's listen to it. And then we play it and there's just no audio at all.
So we filmed the whole episode again.
And we had to do the same jokes, the same reactions, the
same laughs.
Same like surprise. Like, oh, that's weird. I didn't expect you to say that.
And it was just, no one noticed. No one said anything.
No. And I remember that day as well, you got to my house at 4 and you didn't leave till like 9:30 for a half an hour podcast.
Yeah, it was a long day. It was fun though. It was good fun. And that's my favorite behind the scenes. Any behind the scenes moments you've enjoyed or favorite moments in the episodes? I think mine would be that Stan comment.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Funny.
There's been a couple times, we won't go into full details, but Jake's sometimes forgotten where he is on the pod and has brought up politics. We've had to cut bits out. He's like, remember, we're a paddle podcast here. So that's probably mine. When one of us forgets
Trump.
When one of us forgets we're on the paddle podcast.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny though, because that's kind of how the podcast started, isn't it? Really, is where we have these conversations. Like we would finish a paddle match and then you end up just talking about something that's happened 1 minute, and then the next 20 minutes later you're talking about Trump fighting something like or Trump versus Biden, for example, and it's just like you just don't know where he's going. It sparks an idea for a podcast, so it's super cool.
I think that showed though we was getting more into it. You were very relaxed on that podcast. Like you felt at home because you were just saying whatever came to your head.
Yeah, definitely.
Overall, like we said, let us know in the comments below, like any sort of topics or any type of guest that you'd want us to have on it for season 2, because we'll have like maybe 2-3 weeks off, and then we'll take that into account and then we'll go for it then.
Should we give some little teasers?
Yeah, for sure. So
to season 2.
Season 2. Okay, so I'll go through one recent concept that you've trained it a little bit, but I've been training it over the past.
And this is going to be the segment.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So for season 2, we're going to try and have a segment where one of us goes through maybe something they're learning or just any area. Like people can request it, for example. So you might just go 1 week, right? Let me just break down the Chiquita.
Yeah.
So that no matter what, every episode, you're going to get some value from it because you're going to learn about a shot. You can go, even if you know what the Chiquita is, you can go into depth. You can talk about when you use it, for example.
We're thinking of calling this segment Coach's Corner, right?
Coach's
and
Corner,
if you have any other ideas for that name, please let us know.
I think that's good. Coach's Corner.
Coach's Corner is cool.
So we'll go to my corner first. I'll just explain. I'm stealing this from Dan's training that I do every Friday. Jake's been coming to them as well. This is one of the main concepts that Dan pushes with us, and it's zone 1, 2, and 3. So I'll explain it to you, even though I know you know about this, just so I'm not
definitely
stare into the camera. So essentially, zone 1, that would be the area between net position and the net, so the space basically in front of the player there.
Fine, below the net.
Below the net, spot on. Zone 2 would be like between net position and white, as in where the ball's going to bounce, net position and white line, so above the net.
Yeah, okay.
And then
that medium height, isn't it?
Medium height and like probably medium speed or fast speed.
Yeah.
Zone 3 would be behind the white line, so a lob, basically.
Right, okay.
So the whole idea is that when you get an easy ball, you'd play either zone 1 or zone 3. So Chiquita, so a ball below the net to push in, or just play the lob.
Yeah.
And if you're getting, rather than just playing a zone 2 shot, which is really typical of beginners and intermediates, they get like time and they just hit it.
Yeah.
Rather than thinking, no, I need to win the net here. This is when you're at the back of the court, right?
Yeah.
So you're at the back of the court, you get an easy ball, you play zone 1, Chiquita, or you play zone 3 lob, rather than just hitting the ball, which is quite a common one. So we've been practicing that a lot, which is basically what are you trying to do in defense? You're trying to win the net position. So anytime you get an easy ball, it should be doing Chiquita or lob rather than just hitting it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And this is something that's kind of I've been talking about in other podcasts when we're playing the FIP events, and I've also been coaching it a lot. And I think the zone 1, 2, and 3 is a really good way to explain it.
Yeah, simplifies it a bit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just kind of that idea that, like you said, if you get that easier ball, it's not doing anything with it. It's not doing nothing with it. It's doing something with that ball and trying to create an angle, an opening, a passage of play, for example. So, yeah, and that easy ball comes by playing those fast balls to the body and avoiding that zone 2 at that medium pace that we're talking about.
Zone 2 sometimes is unavoidable. Maybe if you're super under pressure, retrieving like a really tough ball, then you might just hit it back. Yeah. But even then, you're probably going more at the body or towards the backhand.
Exactly.
Never really trying to hit to that forehand volley.
Yeah, at that medium pace, it's just going to get killed every point. And a lot of my clients will know exactly what I mean, because I've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks with them. So yeah.
And as an attacker as well, you're trying to basically force the defenders into playing zone 2 shots, because if they play zone 2, then you can attack. You want to not give them the time so that they can play Chiquita or lob.
Yeah, 100%. And that's kind of a really good insight of one of our new segments in season 2, the Coach's Corner. I think it's a cool segment that every week we'll be adding something new, hopefully, to your game that you can then use and work on for the future. So yeah, it's super cool.
Here's one good question though for you, just on that, because with this kind of like philosophy, if you were under pressure, it would be play a zone 2 shot. But could you not argue, even if you're under pressure or digging out a tough ball, play the lob?
Yeah, well, this is the kind of thing that those players are asking me when I kind of give this idea to them.
The standard advice would be easy ball lob, hard ball return it. But I think sometimes hard ball lob.
I do agree. And there's also kind of like a lot of ways you can think about this, because obviously there are some shots that you might be able to get away with talent and play a lob. But the kind of the guideline we're trying to give to you here is like, actually, if you do have that difficult ball, it's better to go down with the intention of playing, like you said, to the body or the backhand.
To stop them attacking.
Exactly. And that, because otherwise what we're seeing in Premier Padel, in FIPS, in LTAs, like all levels now in that kind of pro level game, is if you play a weak lob, you're screwed with either a smash or a vibra.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's basically trying to avoid playing a weak lob.
Yeah.
So you only want to hit that lob when you've got all the time to make sure it's perfect. So that basically is the idea. And now that's not me saying if you get a difficult ball, you can't ever lob, because obviously you can. I do it, you do it, like we all do it. It's just trying to avoid certain moments and doing it all the time, and mixing it up with variety of playing some down, some lobs, and ultimately creating confusion for the opponents and making sure that they're not just kind of sitting on the net knowing that because it's a difficult, you can't lob.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just that kind of idea, and that's what I've been working on in my game massively, is just trying to be able to survive, that key word survive, until I play the lob.
We played the other day and you said the phrase neutralize the point.
Yeah.
So it was we did a little training exercise, lost the first bit, and then the strategy for the second time around was like get the return back. And then was this in training?
Yes,
or was that the match yesterday?
No, it was in training. Yeah, you're spot on. It was the drill was Dan feeds a short lob for them to play a Vibra.
Yeah. So we're on the back foot straight away.
Yeah, so we're under pressure. And I said we lost the first one because we were trying to basically play with that Vibra, trying to do something on that Vibra. But actually, it's kind of like, let's neutralize that Vibra. Even if it means that we have to, like you said, play a zone 2 ball. Let's try and get it maybe to the zone 1 to the feet, if we can, and then neutralize the points. So we're in kind of a level playing field with them at the net, us at the back. And then we can start to create something again. So, and then we ended up winning that second kind of tiebreak scoring we did. And that's all just from neutralizing. And this is basically the same thing with the serve. Like a lot of people now have a great serve. So
you're like just focus on the return.
Yeah.
Get the point
exactly
a bit close to 50-50 and then go.
And it's not like trying to do something with the return. It's neutralize that stop for attack. Because, for example, that match you mentioned yesterday, Stan has a good serve. We played against Stan, and he would charge the net knowing that it's very difficult to lob off that serve. So it's trying to neutralize and put that ball into a position where he can't attack it. And then all of a sudden we're now in the point with ideas to try and create, like I said, that kind of that play positioning into the rally, if that makes sense. Like setting yourself up in that rally from that neutralizing ball, if that makes sense. There's a lot of confusing words in there, but I hope that
no, that does make a lot of sense.
We're struggling to get our words out now, but
it was a great game yesterday. Did you see Padelactico's recent vid with Stan playing in it?
I did, yes.
It was a good game, wasn't it?
It was a very good game. I do have it here. And it was a very interesting game because of Ben and Stan being very passionate.
Yeah. So, for people listening, we just got on the screen now. Padelactico just did a recent tournament vid. It was a Grade 1 tournament at Stratford a month ago. And he played in one of the games Stan and Ben Phillips, which are two young. Obviously, a lot of you will know Stan from the videos. Ben is another really good young player. But a few people, and I've noticed this before in comments, is a few people will kind of like maybe a bit annoyed about Stan and Ben's reactions because they shout a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And
they're very emotional on court.
This reminds me of me and Theo. Theo and I, sorry.
This is why I wanted to speak to you about it, because you got a lot of people saying, why are they... I'll get one up. I've got...
I got the comments here.
Why is bro screaming every time they win a point?
That got 17 likes and 8 replies. People,
it's a broccoli thing.
He's 16 and pumped up. Yeah, I hate that. They weren't. It's Padel,
so
very
I actually
common.
came in as well here because I felt a bit like... Because I know they're going to read these comments.
Yeah, people are surprised 2 labs are pumped up and passionate in a Grade 1 tourney. Yeah, we lost some into trying to pump. And yeah, it's such an interesting, and I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Like, you know me, I'm a massive shouter on court, and especially doesn't really get me pumped up. I just love winding up my opponents.
I think there's a couple points there. So I was going to ask you, first of all, is there any element of you doing it, you're trying to hype yourself up, get you that adrenaline, make sure you're up for it? Because I've always felt with you need to be up for a game in order to perform.
And that tournament naturally does get me up for it because I'm so competitive.
But it is trying to get in your opponent's head as well.
Joe Marler, a ex-professional rugby player, I don't know if you know who he is, ex-England professional as well. And he said the other day, I was never a world-class rugby player. Obviously he was unbelievable, but he was world-class at making other shit.
Right, okay, yeah.
So that stuck with me because it's kind of like I don't think I'm similar to that, but definitely good at winding up
100%
my opponents in battle because I don't care what people think of me.
Yeah.
So
if
you have that in your head, then it's very easy to put that pressure on the opponents when you're constantly in their face and screaming and stuff like that. There was a match that me and Sam Jones played the other day in a FIP in Italy. And we're playing against a good friend of ours, Cameron Dollymore, and his partner, a guy called Alan, but he's from Argentina. So Alan is... but all I could think of is in that meme that's like, Alan.
I don't know that.
Oh, great. Everyone, if you know what I mean, please comment that because that's really awkward. But we played against him and he passed the ball over to us and it nearly hit me and Sam. We were turning around and me and Sam were like, why is he hitting a ball at us? Like, we didn't understand. So next point I was like, fuck it, you deserve this because you just tried to hit a ball at us. I screamed in his face when he missed the ball. And I say when I screamed in his face, just like a come on, right in his direction.
Yeah. And it's after his miss as well.
Yeah, so it's a bit personal. And he's obviously doesn't speak any English. So he said, "¿Qué pasa?" He was like, what's happening? Why have you just done that? Because he obviously doesn't.
Quite an odd reaction, that.
Yeah, well, I don't think he actually meant to hit the ball at us.
Right.
But me and Sam took it straight away.
Thing is, when you're in that competitive moment, anything they do, you're going to take it as like, I hate them.
Exactly. So, and he was like, he didn't understand what was happening.
Poor guy.
And at that point, he looked like so confused. I was like, well, this is going to work. So I carried on. And then over change of ends, he ended up barging into me, shoulder barging me.
Really?
And obviously, best thing I did there was just laugh.
Okay.
Because, like, who's winning in that moment? The guy who's shoulder barging me or the guy who's laughing? So, and we ended up winning that match.
That's when you know you've got him.
Yeah. And like, apologies for Cameron to bringing him into that situation, because Cameron's a lovely guy and he would never kind of get involved with that, and he didn't. So, yeah, screw you, Alan.
Yeah, that's interesting you say it. So you're very much, I think a lot of people in the comments, they don't know about competitive sport. I think because I've found it recently, in the last few match and tournament videos I've had the mic on. So I've noticed a lot more comments of people saying like, oh, why are you saying you all the time? That would put me off. Or like, you're talking too much. Like they're almost imagining themselves playing with me and thinking they wouldn't be able to do it. But I was like, you have to do that. Like, I mean, we played yesterday, and if I'm not on it for a second and telling you maybe where the opponent is, you're straight away, you're saying you need to tell me.
We've spoke about this a lot in our podcast, haven't we? Like the whole kind of season we've spoke about this. And I think, it's definitely silly people saying that you don't need to talk, because it's proven by the Premier Padel players that they don't shut up during a point. If you listen to one of their points, you put the sound on, it's constant talking. Like, whether it's nothing to do with what shot you should play. It's just communicating where the opponents are. Like, I can give you that information, so why wouldn't I? It's not going to put you off, because ultimately you're still making the decision of what shot you're going to play. It just gives you that information. And even like, there was a time that in the match yesterday, I said, maybe try and hit to Stan's backhand, because he was doing the forehand really nicely off your vibra. So I wasn't telling you, how to change your vibra. I was just telling you a bit of advice, and we ended up getting points through that.
That actually was a big thing in the second set. That helps a lot.
Changed the game. They ended up winning the whole match when we lost the first set. So they were tactic advice, and that's the communication that we're talking about. But even these comments are still so funny, isn't it? Like, the little guy on the other team is a cheat, by the way.
You can just tell.
I mean, Stan's you've seen him on our podcast, guys. He'd love a little guy.
Yeah.
He is a little guy, but he would never
interesting.
The kids scream too much. What the fuck? How annoying.
Yeah. I spoke to Louis about it. I think there was one. Did you see the point that they're talking about, saying it was out?
Yeah, it was fairly early, wasn't it?
No, it's 6 minutes in. I just literally looked at it. I think it's just after this one. But yeah, again, for people listening, we're just putting it on the screen because there was like a point that Louis played. Or is it this one here? That's the one, yeah.
Yeah,
and they called it in.
Out.
It is out. But they let them have the point. They let them take it.
Yeah. It happens. It happens to the best of us. I got called excuse my language. I don't know if you might have to beep that.
Nah,
but
that's all right.
I got called, the C word.
That doesn't help it now, saying you've already said it.
Yeah, true. But yeah, for being a cheat, calling it out. And at the end of the day, like, you're on a paddle court. Like, it's not, we're all here to be fun. Like, you replay the point and you go again. Like, at the end of the day, it's 1 point, and we ended up giving them that point, and we still won the match. So I got a last laugh. Talking about guest list though, let's try and get
definitely going to get Louis
on,
because Louis is such a great guy. Like, he makes really cool videos. Some of his videos, like, the editing is amazing. Cinematography is so good. So it'd be great to talk to him about his journey. Obviously very relatable for a lot of listeners as well, coming from tennis to paddle, because he is.
We want to try and get Body by Bison on.
Body by Bison, which is a friend of yours, Jake, at Ilford.
He is the GB strength and conditioning coach.
Yes.
So
so he can give us so much information, especially me. Like, I'd love to just I remember I spoke to him briefly about maybe some of the training I do, and he was just like, "You're doing everything wrong."
Yeah.
So I'd be quite fun to maybe like tell him my training plan, and he can just cook me.
Yeah,
in front
exactly.
of
It'll be really good. Jason Manford.
Jason Manford would be
Try and
amazing.
get him on. He's just started his new Jason Manford Academy, trying to get children playing the sport and make it accessible. So that'd be a really good one.
He's done so much for the sport. I
Yeah,
have to give him a lot of credit.
Sam and Nikhil, Sam Jones and Nikhil Mahindra.
Yep.
That would be cool. Two of our really good friends, and both GB number 2 and GB number 4, so professional players.
And they've been in the scene for years and years, like at the top level, so they can give so much insight
exactly
on the
and
game.
Then also trying to maybe do in season 2 potential live event.
Yeah.
Everything Paddle podcasts on tour.
Yeah. Maybe so you're thinking like doing it at a club?
Well, yeah, there's so many ideas.
Just
for that,
go
right?
on the court, because there's a lot of space on the court.
Yeah.
So we could probably create like a better set than in here.
Yeah. And we could also do
we could have
like
people,
an event, play a tournament, giveaways. Like we
Yeah.
can make it a full day out and just make it super cool for all of our listeners.
Yeah.
And just a kind of could be a season 2 finale.
For
You never
sure.
know.
Yeah.
Ideas.
Awesome ideas. Should we look at one of the clips we got sent in? We only have time for. We got one today.
Yeah. Let's look at my good friend Naeem.
Keep sending in the clips, by the way. We will react to more. It's just today we've got time for just this one.
This is our coach Naeem. Okay, he's on this side over here.
Yep.
Okay, and good friend Adnan over here as well.
Uh-huh.
Don't know these two, unfortunately, but we've been working on the Vibra and correcting his grip. So let's see if he.
Okay.
Look at that
so
racket he's
big
got in his
lob.
hand. Oxdog. Good little
Nice.
Vibra, but we didn't reset, so we need to work on that.
Come on, here we go. Here we go.
Again. I think he thinks
love
he's
that.
going to win it. That's why he's not coming back in.
Yeah, I do like that from him, because you can tell he's really thinking.
All
Do
about
it
our
because
coaching.
again, you do it so much in the lessons, and then in the game, he just smashes that.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's properly like twice. The second one is very tempting just to smash.
Yeah.
But he's done it properly. Like good prep. Love the prep.
Yeah. We're just trying. We're trying to drill that in. Like
This one I'm most impressed with. To do it again.
the footwork.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
You can tell he's been coached.
Great
It's
job,
good.
buddy. Great job.
Well done,
See
mate.
you
Well
on-
done.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
There you go.
Awesome stuff. Okay, thanks so much for listening to the Everything Paddle podcast series finale. We will see you very soon in a few weeks.
Thanks for watching. See you soon. Thank you very much, guys, and see you in season 2.
Sweet. Cool.
Season 2 is going to be unbelievable. I reckon they think that's because we've said that because of our... Yeah, I'm sure now.